So what I just noticed over time doing research and also immersing myself in the community is there's a high conversion rate if you target most people that are already playing in the XR industry. So I just say, okay, why not just go first for those that are willing, that already have some of those skills or have more are more passionate and enthusiastic. So why not recruit them? Then from there we can expand, and they will be like the ambassadors and the storytellers. Oh, this is working, this is how it is, and that's how we just tend to like influence the whole ecosystem for Africa.
I see. So what you just said basically is starting with like people that have a base level or at least passion for the technology before.
It's the passion that matters. Yeah.
Right. Hi everyone, my name is Babatunde Fatai. Welcome to a new episode of XR Atlas Podcast, where I speak to creators, developers, and big players in the African AR, VR, AI, and emerging technologies ecosystem. On this episode, I'll be speaking with Dami Adams. He is the creation tool lead for TikTok South Africa, and we'll be talking about the impact TikTok has had both in the social ecosystem of Africa and also in the extended reality space when it comes to creatives. We would also be working with Dami Adams through his experience moving from organizations outside TikTok to being a creation lead at TikTok. I hope you do enjoy this episode. I hope some of the things we touch on are able to touch you whoever you are, be it a developer, be it someone that is just curious about some of the activities of TikTok, or be it someone that is generally curious about the technology ecosystem in Africa. I do hope you enjoy this episode. Have an awesome one. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Dami. Thank you for arriving late. I'm saying that so that everybody knows.
You're very welcome, and you can thank Lagos to that.
Before we actually jump into things, I think you mentioned thank Lagos or something. You try your best to be a vocal person politically. Why is that?
So I think I just believe everybody should be like a civic enthusiast, because that's what governs your affairs. And as we can see right now, it's touching everybody. So I think if something is as powerful as impacting your life, so why not be a stakeholder in that?
Okay, so from what you just said, politics is actually an important part of everyone's affair.
Yeah.
Since I won't say politicians rule, but what I want to say is since the government is usually in charge of like the growth of the nation, so everyone should have a stake in it.
Yeah.
That's why you are vocal politically. Well, is there not a point where it gets to in terms of this having a stake in it, where we know that we are like slightly powerless to a large extent? I know that it is said that people are like the power, your vote's probably your power. But at the end of the day, there is a level to which the vote seems inconsequential, according to some, right? In terms of actually bringing forward the sort of probably leader that you need. So would that not just bring us to a cycle where people just get elected and they are bashed by everyone and nothing is getting done, and around the circle? Like, how do you think being vocal, I'm not saying it is not impactful, I'm just saying, how do you think being vocal can lead to change?
Yeah. So just understanding your target audience and knowing the kind of country you are, and people are very much undereducated, and that's what most people use to feed into their ignorance. So you voicing up is just a form of reorientation where, okay, they know you in person and they know, okay, your field of influence, you're already making strides. So they tend to want to believe that more. So gradually, the effect is not just about ranting, but just causing a gradual change. And once they can see, okay, 1 + 1 is actually true, they start thinking over time. So it's a gradual process, not necessarily instant.
Okay, so maybe we'll talk more about politics some other day. But let's jump right to it, which is basically Africa's creative ecosystem and TikTok. So you are the creation lead. Is it creation tools lead for TikTok Sub-Saharan Africa?
Yeah.
Like, what does that entail?
Basically, it involves planning, strategy, and also like promotion of all creation tools that helps with content creation, such as filters, which we call effects, templates and CapCuts and the likes. So all those features and product features that allows you to create tools, and it lowers the barrier to creation. So I'm in charge of doing that within the sub-Saharan Africa.
I see. So at least many of TikTok tools, though many people will see them as just social, they are borderline augmented reality. At least most face filters. It's not just about TikTok, but TikTok is going hard into that. And I see you active in the African XR ecosystem also. So how do the two tie together? Is it that you see like developers in augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality as possible creators on TikTok? Because usually, from my experience, creators on TikTok do not even have any experience with virtual or augmented reality. They just want to create like fun things. So how do the two merge?
Firstly is I'll say generally, if we look at like the whole metaverse design industry, so we have like designs across different industries, and we have engineering design, we have architectural, then with the new age where we have VR, MR, and also like AR. So what I just noticed over time doing research and also immersing myself in the community is there's a high conversion rate if you target most people that are already playing in the XR industry. So I just say, okay, why not just go first for those that are willing, that already have some of those skills or have more are more passionate and enthusiastic. So why not recruit them? Then from there we can expand, and they will be like the ambassadors and the storytellers. Oh, this is working. This is how it is, and that's how we just tend to like influence the whole ecosystem for Africa.
I see. So what you just said basically is starting with like people that have a base level or at least passion for the technology before.
It's the passion that matters. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So how has that sort of engagement gone? Because like I said, you are active not just in the African XR ecosystem, the African XR community, which I'm part of and you're also part of, you're also like active there. So I want to ask like what has been the impact or what has been the drawbacks? Like how exactly has that sort of strategy turned out in the last year or two?
So it has really been good. At least I was able to learn some of the pain points, which I understand also. So it's just about creating new narrative and just opening the community members, like those within the XR space in Africa, opening their mindset to the world that they can complete on a global scale. And now that it's still like in the chain industry, now is the time to position and partake in the global scene when it comes to XR and the metaverse space.
Right. So you actually mentioned like a campaign you created, and you were about to talk about like maybe the engagements that had.
I was just talking about the success of the Effect House, which I led, and so we had like it was basically just doing an African, sub-Saharan African challenge where people get to. So I had like a design team where they were to like create gamified effects, and so it's just they creating that and probably putting it with storytelling. So we had like good entries across East Africa, West Africa, and also South Africa. And good thing there is we had winners across the three regions, and it just shows how the power of thinking and solving problem comes into like the gaming industry. So you see how it intersects with the gaming industry, and also because that's like a community that intersects, and you are very much aware of the stakeholders too.
Interesting. Okay, so bringing creators to TikTok is actually like interesting, especially if the creators were developers or AR developers. But one cool thing about social media and being a social media creator is actually like you making money, a lot of money. At least when you like look at people that like create YouTube content, Mr. Beast. I guess Mr. Beast is too big to even mention, right? People that create YouTube content, there's money to it. I'm not so sure about Instagram content, to be honest, but I'm guessing there would be. But for TikTok content specifically, are there any plans, to the best of your knowledge? Because I know many creatives in Africa, at least, that are like getting there. And I do know that maybe like TikTok Africa is here to monetize in that regard, or there are only certain sectors in the TikTok space, let's say US, or where the creators actually like make money from from their content. So are there thoughts around that in any way? Do you?
Currently, East Africa and West Africa not monetize, and by that I mean you can like do advertisements there, so it's majorly just organic. And but yeah, there'll always like be plans to implement on that, but it's not within my jurisdiction, so I can't say much on that. But when it comes to like the effect space, there's been like a global rollout where criteria which if you meet when it comes to the success of your effect and on the global scale and where it can be monetized, and hopefully that rolls out soon in Africa too.
I see. Um, about one interesting thing about TikTok is it is becoming a like global phenomenon, right?
It is.
It's influencing like trends and sparking creativity across various culture. How do you see like TikTok affecting like the creative ecosystem in Africa, the creative landscape in sub-Saharan Africa, especially when it comes to local creators?
I'll say it currently is like the most influential currently. And I think what it just does is it helps with shaping narratives, and it just gives like a broader perspective with good storytelling and people having creativity and fun. And what he helps with that is it builds a diverse knowledge when it comes to entertainment, sports, lifestyle, arts, and the likes. So even from an creation tools or effect perspective, it allows people to just localize some of the things they grew up with or some of the local innuendos. And yeah, so I think when it comes to impact and all, because you can see across different social platforms, people or bloggers majorly just leave content and just post it as. So it just tells you how, where it is. That's where people go to watch things, and yeah.
Okay, so what you are saying is TikTok already has the pool, like the ecosystem,
and it's just scratching the surface.
Right. You've been in the like creative industry for maybe 6 years or more.
Yeah, I think so.
Or 60.
Yeah,
6 years. So what do you think the core difference is between the traditional like creative industry compared to like TikTok creative industry, or should I say marketing, traditional advertising compared to like the TikTok advertising?
Okay, yeah. So with having a background in like advertising, and I'll say nothing really much has changed. It's just that the tool and there's just more platform, and in terms of like visibility, I think that's just what changed. But when it comes to like being creative, and these are something that's always like been in the show, like had always existed. So I think what just helps is just giving more visibility across different platforms, and just lowering the barrier to creations, and also giving the possibility that you can own a niche in a new industry or an existing one without having to set up a studio, and also just at the click of your phone. And yeah, so it just gives that convenience, and which solves
what
problems.
tool are you most like excited about in terms of that you think a tool in TikTok that you think would revolutionize like content creation? Like which one are you personally most excited about?
So I think to be honest, for me, I think the greatest tool assets you can ever have are the people. So far people keep using a tool or an app. Those are like the biggest force there. So I'm really bullish and heavy invested in the people, because it's from the people you get to see creativity. And so even with not an eye hand, you can always communicate or tell a story, and people can relate. So far that mind is there, humans are there and still going. Yeah, I think that's what powers the app.
That feels like a very political answer because okay, so to the best of my knowledge, TikTok has like right now a very strong like augmented reality tool. I don't know if it's Effect House or whatever it's called. Do you know of any plans to diversify, utilize that particular tool for things outside those what do they call it, filter creation? Because at the end of the day, you might be creating a tool for a specific thing, but that tool is powerful enough to like do other things.
Yeah, so that's why part of our mantra is inspiring creativity and bringing joy. So we don't try to like box or tool, and just like you said, a powerful tool as Effect House. It's just about your mind, your capacity to think, ideate, and with augmented reality platform, an AR platform like that, so you can basically solve problems across the sports, entertainment, arts. So you can always create new realities across. So there's no form of limiting your boxing. So with that, you can create stickers, you can create different things. So it's just about not limiting your mindset. And as with new features and other tracking, body tracking, and other features, geo tools gets launched and upgraded, it just extends how much more you can grow in terms of creation.
I see. I really like that they are pushing the boundary in that regard. Came like TikTok came way after like Instagram has gone far, but when it comes to the tools, I'm not like an authority on it, but I still feel like they are really pushing boundaries a lot. I think Instagram and Facebook's tool is called Spark AR or something.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I also think like Effect House is actually a very powerful tool in that regard.
It's currently the most. We have like the largest members on Discord globally, and it's also one of I think the second fastest design forum on Discord. So, yeah.
Interesting. There's one thing that you mentioned, which is you like investing in the people, right? And compared to the two, I also know that you are very bullish when it comes to either Nigerian or things Africa, right? So can you speak a bit about, if you had like a power to influence like youths in Africa, how would you utilize like that power? What sort of things would you hope youths in Africa get done?
Yeah, so just like Bill Gates came, when he came to Nigeria, I think he came 2017, 18. So he talked about a topic which he said, investing in the people, that's the biggest force, and that's what's lacking in Africa. And I think he was able to like understand and see that, there's power, like Nigerians, Africans are really talented, but what we lack is like an ample leadership to just channel those tools and like export it to the world. So for me, when it comes to like the African mind, I think just exposing them to understanding their reality, so where we're coming from and where we want to get to. That's the first stage. Then the next thing is I'm one that is very keen on people enjoying what they do. So it doesn't, because over time, life is not so easy and it's only your passion that keeps you staying. So I believe people to find their interest and just solve problem around there. But if you can't afford to follow your interest currently, do what you have to do. And while you're at it, you can always like, till you can afford the lifestyle or like to chase your passion. So even while chasing your passion, you can now intersect it with tech or anything. But I'm not one to always do the head mentality like, tech is the new thing, finance is this, or oil is this. I just believe follow your dreams and passion. Do what you have to do if you can't afford to follow your passion now. Because in the end, don't just follow it blindly, because you need to eat and just understanding your background. So do what you have to do till when you can get there. And so with just that understanding, and it easily becomes easy to solve problems since it's something you're passionate about. And so being an outlier in that field becomes very easy. But if you are doing something you're not so interested, it will be very much visible. So that's my philosophy in problem solving.
I see. So in your role as like the creative tool lead, balancing strategy and creativity is very important. And also balancing like the everyday life, like also and pressure that either has to come from work, has to come from the country, or has to come from every other thing that everybody has to deal with. So how do you like find balance between strategy and creativity, or life, country, work?
So for a person like me, I'm a man of many interests, and I think over time I've just come to accept that. So I think one thing that keeps me going is I only do what I'm interested in. I don't work in toxic environments. I'm very keen on maintaining my energy. I'm big on humor, memes, and the likes, because it keeps me sane. So I'm always also selective on the kind of circle I affiliate with. So we put in all these systems and structure, constant validation of people that have access to me, and knowing how much I give in terms of value. So I don't underrate talents and all. So I know it's just about putting a structure to it and just living life once at a day. Yeah.
I see. So living life once at a day has saved you from Nigerians.
Yeah, so Nigeria is like one of the hardest places to solve problem, but I think what just drives me, I just like the energy, I like the vibe, and but to be honest, there's a lot we need to do, and I just believe everybody can be stakeholders, and once everybody can be involved, everybody is influential. I personally believe in that. So if we can all channel that to our family and social circle and other things, everything becomes better. And yeah.
One interesting thing that I found about TikTok is how like the gaming ecosystem is engaged, be it game developers or like people that are game creators, how they are engaged from like the TikTok perspective. Can you shine a bit of light into that? Because I've seen a couple of.
Yeah, so it's not really my jurisdiction, so I can't speak much on that. But what I just know is because my role cuts across all verticals. So because we currently promote from a global strategy across verticals, and so I think we are very key. Where you see creators, that's where we are. I think we are the most driven and most passionate platforms who care about creators first. So we try to invest in every creator, whether it's game, fashion, lifestyle, health, sports, and we just give them the tools to be better creators, to be better influence in their field of circle. And with that, it's just about changing the narrative, empowering them to compete at the global scale. And yeah, so far you're ready to work and make impact. We're ready to support you.
Okay, so let's speak a bit before TikTok. How long have you been with TikTok? In TikTok?
I started losing count since after 2 years, but last year, September, I think October, I clocked 2 years. So if you count that to now, that's like 2 points.
So you did not lose count. It's still 2 years. Something.
Yeah.
Okay. So before TikTok, like what was the journey like?
So I had a background in civil engineering. I studied from University of Ilorin. I'm better by far, which you're also a proud alumni. And so I think I've always been a creative mind from small, but I never saw myself like in a creative industry, but I've always been creative. So I think the first turning point for me came during my internship. So I went like for engineering internship. I had two actually. So the first one, I just knew that, I don't think this is what I want to do for life. And so I was just being open to opportunities. I actually thought I would be in like the management industry business because I really like business finance because I know at the core of everything, whether creative or professional courses, you need to learn management. So having that basic understanding, I knew that, okay, I needed to delve into management. But as things will have it, I've always been open to options. And so in school, I immersed myself in many opportunities, planning committees, and also leadership positions. I won't say political because I don't try to think from that angle. And yeah, it equipped me with team building skills, leadership skills, and other skills that I was able to. So with that, I was able to like build a portfolio and be able to compete with people that studied English, communications, and the creative industries. So launching out into like the workforce, NYC and the likes. So I still did a bit of engineering, but I saw opportunities in the creative and talent management, and that's how I started. So from talent management, moved to digital, then to like advertising, and yeah, so from there back to.
So you did a bit of like visual designing. Did you do
In
visual
where?
design in any way? You can
No. But I learned design thinking in advertising, so that really helped me, shaped my thoughts. Because one thing there is I don't limit myself. While I was like a junior strategist and community manager, I was also like observing design. Design was the only thing I didn't actively learn. But I think a little after school, I did a bit of design self. Talking about it, like I was in like a boot camp or something, but I didn't really finish. But I did a bit of, but it was in advertising, my advertising journey, I learned design thinking, and that helped me with knowing, okay, the white space, black space, and other things. And yeah, copywriting, I know how to do that. Like, that's my core. And to which, yeah.
Design thinking is applicable to almost everything.
Yeah.
I think it is important, a skill that one needs to learn and also like continually improve on. Okay, so what would you say was the most like exciting of your journey before TikTok? Like an apex of it, one key maybe experience.
To be honest, like just Uh, so I've lived. I don't know. I think I've always been in environments that excites and creative. I try to immerse myself in culture, arts, pop culture. So there are a lot of beautiful experience that I can't even remember all. But when it comes to professional career, I think just solving problems for big brands that we see on TV were my best. So working on brands like Coca-Cola and Budweiser, I think those were some of like the really mind-blowing or core problem-solving moments I had.
I see. One thing that I'm very familiar with is the fact that engaging in such activities, either be it solving a problem for Coca-Cola, it always pushes you to know that you can do more. So you always like keep rising and keep rising.
Since then, I've always known, okay, if I can handle this global brand, I don't think there's anything else I can do. So, but at the core of it, you always find me at the creative space, whether creative marketing, music industry, or just brand consulting and the likes. Yeah, like I said, I wear coats of many colors.
Right. So for those that maybe young ones that are looking at, oh, this is the sort of like career path that you've had, and they want to have a similar one, like what would be the advice to them?
Firstly, I'm still young. But yeah, I think first thing there is just identify what you're passionate about, but don't be blind about it. Just do what you have to do to make a living. But if you can afford to dive straight into like your passionate project, then go into it, then build into that, evolve with technology, and just always lead with data, but also have like a fusion of God's insights and local intelligence. Yeah.
Interesting. You said local intelligence, that's like trying to understand your ecosystem.
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
But one thing that is very prominent here is the lack of data, especially when it comes to key things. So how would people survive within that, not having the appropriate data and still trying to understand if an ecosystem is the right one to go into, or a particular skill is the right one?
So I acknowledge like data, there's a huge gap in Africa and Nigeria. But as much as we keep saying that, we've been saying that for 10 years, but there are also like market insights companies that are doing data. So either you look for them or look for agencies that have dropped case studies, and you can always understudy. That subconsciously is already data. It's feeding you, giving you insights already. Then from there, you can always like just take surveys. Survey too is a form of data. Because I think the thing there is everybody's always waiting for someone to do the dirty work. Nobody wants to start. So you too can also start from there. And with that, you're already building your bank of data, and yeah.
I see. So even if there is lack of data, it is something that one still needs to go after. If it's something that you need to go after, you still need to go after it while building the data yourself.
Yeah, and yeah, speak to your target audience. I believe you're not solving for a whole. So start with those you know around. Why do you do this? Why do you think you react to this? Then also observe. Like that's one thing people barely do. I observe anywhere I am. I take cues, and yeah. So from there, you're already getting insights. Why is this normal? Why is it not? So the moment you tend to question things, it just gives you an holistic way to solve problems.
I see. So if you could create a TikTok effect or challenge, right, that represents your personality, what would it be called, or what would it be about?
Probably a phoenix, because it's about evolving. So I'm open to change. I love challenging myself and just evolving.
So phoenix, like the bird that emerges from the fire or something.
Yeah, it's a mythical creature. And just I think I got that cue from Harry Potter, and so it's just about evolving, and yeah.
I see. And you would consider yourself a person that has evolved through, obviously, from your story, a person that has evolved through time. Do you think this is it? Is the goal to like rise through TikTok, or you are still evolving?
So I think wherever problem needs to be solved, you find me there. So I'm very much passionate about ideas, and I love to see where an idea can take me. So I think that's what drives me wherever I'm at.
Okay. So if you were to choose like one or two things in Nigeria that you could change by just snapping your finger, what would those things be, and what sort of effects do you think they would have?
You know the first one. So, but let's leave it aside the first one, which I know you know. I think I think it's just the first thing is just quality education, and just the next one would probably be good policies. Yeah, just revamp policies.
Although I said like if you could like snap your finger, but those things are dependent on core things. Quality education is dependent on a lot. First, from like a good classroom.
So at the snap, we see those things manifest, just like you said. So it's magical. It's not like it's happening. But
so basically, we should not be expecting that anytime, as long as no magic exists. Thank you very much for speaking on the show. One key thing to the audience, at least those either that want to follow you, like, and also an advice for young stars.
So I'll say invest in your peers. I think it's very much underrated. Most people just tend to look above, but try and invest in your peers, because one thing you don't know is the next set of generation of leaders, especially now that tech has lowered the barrier to entry of everything, actually your peers. But if you don't build with them, you just keep wondering, how does this person have influential friends and all? But the moment you undermine those within your circles, I'm not saying consult from people that are like senior, above. Also consult from people that like make friends, be open. That's just it, because you don't know who has beautiful ideas. But always come from a point of value. Don't always be in the mindset of, oh, give me. Always try to solve problems, and trust me, wealth, any other thing, excellence would follow you. Value first. That's
I see. So provide value. Do not underestimate others. Don't always look up. Or also look down and at with your peers. Interesting. Thank you very much for the advice.
You're welcome.
I wish we could talk more about TikTok and go, but from what you've said, you only have view into like the creative tool aspect of things, and you do not wish to step into other people's jurisdiction, because you've mentioned jurisdiction at least 3 times today.
I like minding my business.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.